Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking all things real estate. And hey, we have some good news.
There's good news?
There's good news.
People are always waiting for the good news.
The good news, yeah. Right? It doesn't directly affect Canada, but it certainly indirectly does. And the good news is the United States has announced they're at this juncture, they're expecting 3 interest rate drops in 2024.
So this is we're just right before Christmas as we're filming it. So we'll probably have this out before the new year. So
So they're projecting 3 interest rate drops in the new year. And you might be saying, well, that sounds great, but what does that have to do with us in Canada?
Yeah.
Right?
Because they are different markets. They're tied very closely.
Yeah.
But not quite the same.
Yeah, different markets, different legislation in terms of how mortgages are funded, all of those things, and lenders and so forth. However, Canada typically wants to follow the U.S. in what it does with interest rates.
Interesting, right? Since they're our biggest trading partner.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And if we lower interest rates ahead of the U.S., how does it affect our dollar? How does it affect import, export, and the ratios of imports and exports? And it can have a negative effect all around. In the U.S. right now, they're trying to stimulate the economy. And that's one of the things that they projected is something that they want to do.
And they're heading into an election, so they probably want to see look at our economy. So they might be lowering it on purpose. That's my guess. I'm totally speculating, right?
Yeah. Well, they're not lowering it by accident, if you want to think of it that way.
But they could not raise it by accident either.
Yeah. So
they could have just not printed money like the Canadians did, right?
Yeah.
For affecting our inflation.
Yeah.
But
so what does that mean for us? And we had David on here just I don't know when it aired, but a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Talking about. So remember David from Olympic Mortgages, and he was talking about what the projection is, and we talked about projections for 2024.
Right. So he was talking about we're looking at a lowering interest rate, but it depends. It's hard to tell. And is it by the end of 2024? Is it in the third quarter of 2024, or is it even sooner? And since we did that interview with him, I've seen plenty of other headlines of it might be coming a lot sooner than, let's say, the third quarter.
Yeah.
So
and I think certainly as we started off by saying, what the U.S. does has a significant effect on Canada's economy and some of the fiscal decisions that are made here. So the conclusion we came to in talking to David is obviously interest rates have been frozen now for the last 2 announcements?
Right. This is the first time they haven't increased it. It's stayed the same.
Yeah.
So
there's that. The other, and looking forward from there, we came to the conclusion that interest rates are going to drop in 2024. That's the expectation. And I think the takeaway was probably third or fourth quarter. I would still agree with that the takeaway is third or fourth quarter that we'll start to see those interest rates come down. How much, we don't know. You should go back and watch the video with David, because he breaks down the whole bond market and how that relates to interest rates, fixed rates versus variable, and all of those things.
It's to me, it's totally fascinating. I don't quite understand it, only because my headspace is not there. I'm not following it, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice when somebody just breaks it down for me, and makes it into a digestible amount.
Yeah.
And then it's oh, that's great. That's all I need to know right now. But if I was a home buyer or home seller, this is a really good time.
Yeah.
Before interest rates go down, because you can go, if it's on a variable or a short fixed, and then catch it later when it might be lower.
Yeah.
My only thought is, if there's going to be positivity in the market, we're expecting interest rates to go down, there's going to be I think in desirable places like where we live in Victoria,
Yeah.
there's going to be a rush back to the market, thinking that like, oh, prices are going to go up if interest rates are going to go down.
And that's the expectation, I think, that's already here. We know that there's.
So now I think is a great time to buy.
Yeah.
I know it's slow and there's not as much inventory, but I'd be seriously looking right now if I was ready.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we've said that before, that if you're ready, willing, and able, now is the time to buy. Now is the time to get out there and look at some properties and figure out what makes sense for you. Whether you're in this market or another market and you're looking to buy, now is the time.
Sellers are still flexible.
Yeah.
I'm hearing of reports of very few multiple offers. Like,
Yeah.
they do happen out there. They happen even in the slowest market. They will happen.
Yeah.
But it's not a common thing like when it was like through the pandemic where it was just bananas.
Oh,
Right.
I drive by this house every day because it's just down the road on the way to take my daughter to school. I still remember this house that I wrote on for a client, and there was 22 offers on it. 22 offers on it.
Yeah, that's something else.
Right?
I know.
And that's not good for anybody. Maybe you can say that's good for the buyer or the seller, but the seller's still got to go find another house.
Unless the seller's leaving to somewhere that
Right.
isn't in a hot market.
Right.
Or cashing out altogether.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they're moving to Costa Rica or Mexico or whatever. But if you're still.
Yeah, or 1988.
Yeah. Right. So, so we say that to say, I think we're going to see the turnaround happening in the new year where prices have come down. They're going to start, as soon as those interest rates move, the prices are going to start adjusting.
Yeah, absolutely, I think. Yeah, so don't hold your breath for too long,
Yeah.
I think.
I think that would be an accurate way to say it.
You know, this is probably in no way an indication of a long-term speculation of what's going to happen in the real estate market, but at least in the next like 6 months, like we could still see like a slow start to the new year, and then probably ramp up for spring with like with even like the rumors of interest rates coming down.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing that's happened is we've returned to what is more of a normal seasonal market.
I know it feels slow, right? Because we've been going so fast. Everything's been so quick.
Right.
And now it's like, we got off the off ramp on the highway and we're doing the speed limit, and it feels like we're going like a snail's pace right now.
Yeah.
And seasonally we're in winter, so that has some effect to it as well.
And it's now, again, regardless of when you see this, it's Christmas, so the holidays, people are taking a break, they're off with their kids or gone to see family or whatever the case might be. So it's a completely different time in terms of what the market is doing.
Yeah.
I know over the years when I've had deals that we did over the holidays, it was because a lot of it was for transfers, military transfers. Mm-hmm. So we were doing those, and I remember looking at properties.
It doesn't matter what time of year.
Yeah.
It's like that's when it's happening.
Right.
So that's when they do it.
Yeah, I remember looking at properties with one client after Christmas and before New Year's,
Oh boy.
because it was like, okay, we got to get this done.
Right, but then like for sellers, it's like the house looks beautiful, like it's clean. Right now the company's gone, probably, right? And the Christmas decorations are still up. Yeah. I don't know. I like showing houses around this time of year. Not that I want to be like, there's all kinds of things happening, but like to see everybody else's decorations. I don't know. I love this time of
No,
year.
it's good. Yeah, it's a great time for sure. So, that's really what we wanted to talk about in this episode, is just about where we see interest rates going, and the fact that what the U.S. is projecting is just reinforcing what we were already saying that we were going to see in Canada. So I think we're just seeing that reinforced.
Exactly.
Through that.
Yeah. So if you're at that moment, you're thinking about buying real estate, or you have some questions about real estate, feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information is obviously in the description below. If you want to look at listings, of course, I've got a link in there now where you can message us, and we could set that up for you. That'll involve. I don't want to have like just a templated search for somebody, so that involves a phone call and a conversation with one of us. so we can sort of narrow down what your needs and wants are first
sure.
before we go into that. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you haven't, please take a minute and subscribe to the channel and like the video. It just helps us with the algorithm. I think we're heading for, are we going up to 3 episodes a week now, I think?
3 episodes a week. That's it. We're ramping up the schedule here.
So for 2024, we're putting out even more content. So we're aiming for 3 episodes a week. And that's why you want to subscribe, so that you don't miss any of the content that we're talking about, anything that we're bringing out, and any information that we're putting out there. And if you know anybody out there that they just like maybe talking about real estate, and sometimes we take a different point of view on things, just because this is also about our personality and who we are. Maybe you like the vlogs that we do, going into the neighborhoods and things like that. We'll be getting back to that as the weather
as the
allows.
weather gets, as it gets better. I can't wait to get back out there.
Right? We tried one day, just so you know. We tried one day, and it was just like,
it's miserable.
Yeah, it was just, there was so much rain. It was like, okay, who are we going to talk to? And nobody was really at the event because of the rain.
Nobody wants to stand out there and like talk to us for a few minutes. Like that's not going to work.
So. So we'll be back doing that as well. But so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of that. And that way you'll get all the notifications. And again, please like the video. It helps us with the algorithm with YouTube. We want to grow the channel. And we want to thank you all that have subscribed already. We're well over 100 subscribers, and our next goal is 500 subscribers. 500
subscribers.
So help us get to that. And
thank you all, and have a Merry Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas. See ya.